Warning: do not attempt anything you see in the following video. Democratic discretion is advised.
There are many weapons at our disposal, each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
But if there's one thing Liberty Day 2185 has taught us, it's that the R2124 Constitution is the most patriotic and impressive armament any Helldiver can use.
In honor of this highly prosperous occasion, we decided to pit the R2124 against each enemy faction to measure its raw efficacy. In short, this is what fighting our enemies looks like on Nightmare Mode.
Before we explain the rules of this exercise, which we'll call Nightmare Mode, let's first take a closer look at the R2124 Constitution to better gauge its battlefield effectiveness.
Alright, so the R2124 Constitution is a ceremonial bolt-action rifle that is traditionally given to every citizen of the Federation on their 16th birthdays to encourage them to enlist in the SEAF or join the Helldiver Corps. The R2124 was actually issued on Liberty Day 2184 to all active Helldivers along with the classic Helldivers helmet and armor set. The Constitution has medium armor penetration and an ammo capacity of just 5 rounds. Like similar rifles, it comes with 99 spare rounds, each of which must be loaded individually. For this reason, it has a very slow rate of fire and is far from efficient when it comes to crowd control. However, with the right strategy, the Constitution is much more effective than meets the eye.
The one good piece of news with the Constitution is that you're not likely to run out of ammo, certainly not quickly. Of course, in regular missions, you'll use the Constitution along with secondary and support weapons, as well as orbital stratagems and eagle strikes. But for us at the SES, well, we wanted to see how it fared on its own.
Now, let's quickly review the rules of how we measured the Constitution's raw battlefield capabilities. Each Helldiver who participated in this exercise was only allowed to use the R2124 Constitution to kill enemies, regardless of their size or lethality. Helldivers were not allowed to have their HUD enabled when fighting, only over the shoulder or aiming down the iron sights. Each diver had to play one super Helldive mission against each faction. Each diver was required to wear the DP-53 Savior of the Free armor with the new Liberty Day cape. If they do not own the DP-53, they were to use any variant of the B-01 Tactical. Divers could use any booster, call down resupplies, and reinforce as many times as available. Enemy structures could be destroyed using only grenades, thermites, and called-in hellbombs. Errant hellbombs in the field could be shot and used to kill enemies. At no time could enemies be killed with any other weapon other than the Constitution. No backpacks of any kind were allowed. No vehicles allowed, even if found in the field.
Now that you understand the parameters, let's take a look at the Constitution's performance against each faction based on our experiences.
Let's start with the bugs, since we've recently made some significant strides on their front. I'm pleased to report that I was able to last 19 minutes and 19 seconds on my mission against them, though I only managed to kill 72 bugs in the process. The Constitution is accurate, but against swarms of Terminids, you spend most of your time running, trying to get enough distance between yourself and them. I guess you could say I took the more tactical approach here.
Well, that's certainly one way to do it. In my first run against the bugs on Akiad 3, I made it just 8 minutes and 3 seconds. I did kill 64 bugs in total, taking out scavengers, warriors, and shriekers with relative ease. I even managed to take out an alpha commander or two, which I was pleased about. However, on my second run on the dreaded Osha Une, call that Ultra Nightmare, I lasted all of 5 minutes and 29 seconds, being completely overrun by scores of Predator Strain Stalkers and Hunters in mere seconds. Here I only racked up a measly 36 kills, many of which were due to a hellbomb I found in the field. With virtually no other options left to me, I did the only thing any sane Helldiver would do, so you can't really blame me.
The Constitution is definitely not good for crowd control, which means against the bugs, it's highly ineffective. It's wasted on smaller enemies, and it's mostly useless against Bile Titans and Impalers. It makes the most sense against Shriekers, Warriors, and Hive Guards, but beyond that, it just doesn't have the fire rate and spread needed to push the bugs back.
What can I say? The Constitution is democracy incarnate, but on its own against the bugs, especially in their numbers, a single Helldiver will quickly be overrun. One thing I will say though is that the Constitution's bayonet makes it useful for taking out lighter enemies and conserving your ammo, so that's something of a redeeming quality. But on its own, your chances of survival on planets with the worst bug infestations is unbelievably low.
Okay, so in my opinion, the Constitution actually works best against the bots. On my first run on Vernon Wells, I made it 9 minutes and 48 seconds and only took out 30 enemies. But my accuracy was over 90%, which is a testament to how easy it is to hit your mark with the Constitution. On my second run on Penta, I made it 7 minutes and 57 seconds, racking up just 23 enemy kills. However, thanks to my chosen booster and the DP-53's passive, Democracy Protects, I was actually able to take out a bot fortress on my own. How much the Constitution helped is a matter of debate, but as far as I'm concerned, it played a huge role in this success.
I made it 7 minutes and 46 seconds against the Automatons, but only got 12 kills. But like Vanguard, my accuracy was almost 90%. Without using cover, I found myself a sitting super duck most of the time, as I had to stop and aim at weak points in order to get kills with any level of efficiency. On heavy enemies like Factory Striders, tanks, and Hulks, the Constitution falls far short of the penetration required to take these targets out.
The good news is that for troopers, berserkers, and devastators, the Constitution, if used correctly, is surprisingly effective. Aiming at a devastator's head allows you to one-shot them if you're successful, and focusing fire on a berserker's midsection can split it in 2 to 3 shots. While crowd control is less of a thing with the Automatons, it's safe to say that if you don't use cover and avoid patrols, you'll be dead in a matter of minutes. And if gunships find and track you, your odds of survival plummet. They will relentlessly track you, firing waves of missiles and ragdolling you in every which direction. The Constitution does an admirable job against bots, but once the heavy and air units start pouring in, it's game over.
And now, we move on to the third and final faction, the Illuminate. Like the bugs, I survived for a pretty decent amount of time, 15 minutes and 34 seconds. Of course, I did my best to keep my distance and pick off enemies from afar, so while I survived longer, my efficiency was lower, hence why I only managed to get 68 kills. The big problem here is the squids have energy shields that regenerate over time, so given the Constitution's low rate of fire, it proved extremely problematic at the best of times.
The damned squids. I decided to take my Constitution with me to Grafmere, where I lasted 10 minutes and 38 seconds, getting only 47 kills. Voteless were relatively easy to pick off, but only by aiming at their heads. Against Watchers, the Constitution proved very effective, preventing the squids from calling in reinforcements. I was even able to hold my own against several Illuminate overseers, which was a pleasant surprise. My crowning achievement here, though, was downing a Stingray, albeit with several reinforcements and well-placed shots. I then made an attempt on Genesis Prime where I fared a little better, getting 64 kills in 11 minutes and 44 seconds. Here I think the SCA of troops around me helped my case, as did my previous encounters on Grafmere. I didn't down any Stingrays this time, but numerous Voteless and Overseers met their end, either through gunfire or being bureaucratically bayoneted.
Using the Constitution against Voteless, even when hitting them in the head, feels like a waste. Bayoneting them definitely makes more sense, but is risky. It's probably best for warding off Watchers, or Narcs as Vanguard and I like to call them. And while it can take out Stingrays and even Harvesters, it's no simple feat, and something even veteran Helldivers will struggle with. Again though, this is really testing your mettle against the enemies of democracy using minimal firepower and a seriously low rate of fire. In my opinion, if you can get over 100 kills on your own in a super Helldive against any faction, you're a far more skilled and luckier diver than most.
And this concludes this briefing on the R2124 Constitution, aka fighting on Nightmare Mode.
But what do you think, Helldivers? Is this really Nightmare Mode? And can you do better? Let us know in the comments and be sure to post screenshots of your stats and results in our official Discord.
Please like and subscribe, and of course, get your democratic drip right now off our brand new Superstore. Our Liberty Day limited drop ends November 5th at 12 PM EST, so get yours before this run ends. Hop to it, soldiers. Until next time, stay forever free and never ever surrender. For Super Earth and democracy.